out of the red corner, an undefeated mixed martial artist holding a perfect professional record.
What's up, YouTube? Crossover MMA back in here for another video. This will be my UFC 310 recap. I went 11-3 on the card, so I did pretty well. Timestamps will be in the description. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. In the main event, we had Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Asakura for the flyweight title. In round one, Pantoja comes out straight on the pressure right away, takes the center of the octagon, lets a good left hand and just goes right into a grappling sequence. Pantoja gets the takedown 1 minute into the fight. You can see Asakura's speed when he tries to close the distance and land as he gets back up to his feet. Pantoja's staying right in Asakura's face. Asakura tries some blitzes and lands a few shots. Pantoja starts mixing in these blitzing combinations and they end landing with kicks and most of them are body kicks and they land very flush. They land very heavy. I gave this round a 10-9 Alexandre Pantoja. Round two, Alexandre Pantoja picks up right where he left off, gets right back on the pressure, backs Asakura up against the cage, tries to jump on Asakura's back. It takes a second, but Pantoja manages to get Asakura's back and then gets him to the ground. Pantoja wastes no time, starts maneuvering for a rear naked choke, gets under the chin, puts Asakura to sleep. Alexandre Pantoja gets the second round submission. Alexandre Pantoja continues to show his dominance over the flyweight division. There's no telling who he's gonna fight next. He called out Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. I don't think Mighty Mouse is coming out of retirement for that fight, so Pantoja pretty much is gonna have rematches, I think, going forward. In the co-main event, we had Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Machado Gary. Round one, both guys come out. You can see there's a lot of respect between each other. Shavkat initiates a clinch pretty early. That clinch pretty much puts them on the ground and takes up much of the round. Neither guy hardly lands anything. They break the clinch with 30 seconds left in the round. Shavkat lands a huge right hand, by far the biggest shot of the round. And in my opinion, that one strike won Shavkat Rakhmonov the round. Ian Gary landed 3 total strikes and Shavkat Rakhmonov landed 2 total strikes. So that's a 10-9 round for Shavkat Rakhmonov. Round two starts with Shavkat taking the center of the octagon. Ian Gary lands some leg kicks, some jabs. Neither guy really wants to get in the boxing range and take any real risk. Shavkat lands a nice right hook that grazes Ian Gary. Then they initiate another clinch. Shavkat mostly holds Ian Gary against the cage. Shavkat lands probably 2 of the best strikes of the round and just held Ian Gary up against the cage for majority of the round. It's another low output round. Ian Gary landed 10 strikes. Shavkat Rakhmonov landed 9. The biggest shot of the round, I would say, was landed by Shavkat, so it's another 10-9 round for Shavkat Rakhmonov. Round three, both guys come out a bit more active. Gary's starting to land more kicks and starting to just put more output out there. The activity is really serving Ian Gary. He gets out to a slight lead to Shavkat in this round, and Gary's just really using a lot of kicks this round. Shavkat initiates another clinch, doesn't do much with it. Mark Goddard stops the action, brings him back to the center of the octagon. That's the end of the round. Ian Gary lands 14 total strikes. Shavkat lands 11 strikes. I gave this round to Ian Gary. Round four, Shavkat comes out, starts throwing early. Ian Gary responds with his own strikes and a few kicks. Shavkat shoots a takedown attempt, gets Ian Gary on the ground. Shavkat lands a couple short ground and pound shots. Gary starts a scramble and gives Shavkat his back. Shavkat slides off and ends up in a bad position, but he gets Ian Gary's back again, gets another double leg takedown. The strikes for this round are 14 strikes for Shavkat Rakhmonov, 11 strikes for Ian Gary. I gave this round to Shavkat Rakhmonov. Round five, they come out. Ian Gary, in my opinion, needs to finish. They exchange a couple strikes. Shavkat shoots another takedown. Gary ends up on Shavkat's back. Gary then just starts hunting for a rear naked choke, and he gets one arm underneath Shavkat's chin, very close to getting a rear naked choke, but Shavkat's doing a good job of tucking his chin and getting just a bit of an angle just so he can survive the choke. Shavkat then turns into Ian Gary. Ian Gary gets back to his feet. They stay in the clinch, and that pretty much just ends the round. I gave this round a 10-9 for Ian Gary, but the conclusion, I scored at 48-47 for Shavkat Rakhmonov. He ends up winning a 48-47 unanimous decision. Neither guy really wowed anyone with their performance last night. I think they both learned a lot from it, and going forward, they're going to need to put a bit more volume out there and activity if they want to win a close fight. In the next fight, we had Cyril Gunn versus Alexander Volkov 2. Round 1, the fight starts. Volkov starts right on the front foot, coming forward, putting Gunn on the back foot straight away. And I really like this from Volkov. Like, coming into the pre-fight breakdown, I was saying that Volkov needed to be on the front foot, make Gunn uncomfortable, and he just couldn't let Gunn sit at range and just dictate the pace to him. Gunn manages, Volkov catches a kick from Gunn, takes Gunn straight down. Gunn manages to get back to his feet, and then Volkov is right back on the forward pressure. Cyril Gunn then gets his own takedown and manages to land some good ground and pound. Then Gunn gets away with a cage grab that stopped him from falling on his back. For whatever reason, Cyril Gunn goes for a heel hook, and then Alexander Volkov manages to scramble back to his feet. They exchange strikes on the feet. Gunn lands a big knee, and Volkov uses that to land another takedown. Gunn then goes for a guillotine and rides out the round. Gunn landed 12 total strikes, and Volkov landed 10 strikes. I scored round 1 for Cyril Gunn. Round 2, they come out. Gunn lands some jabs early to the face and to the body. Gunn lands a jab, and Volkov counters perfectly with a spinning back fist that clips Gunn on the chin, and he just eats it. It's by far the best shot of the round. Volkov is just landing the cleaner strikes, in my opinion. Gunn then lands a clean 1-2 and slips Volkov's chin. Gunn then gets a takedown, lets Volkov back to his feet, and that pretty much ends the round. I scored round 2 10-9 for Volkov. Round 2, Volkov comes out, takes the center of the octagon straight away, shoots a single leg takedown. They end up stuck in this awkward position where Gunn is pretty much fighting, trying to get this Kimura, but Volkov is doing a very good job of defending it. Gunn manages to let it go. Then they're still tied up with one another, and Volkov has landed some nice light strikes. This pretty much ends the round. Both guys land a total of 4 strikes. I scored this round a 10-9 round for Volkov, but Cyril Gunn manages to win a 29-28 unanimous decision. I personally think Volkov should have won 29-28. I'm not going to say it was a blatant robbery, but I do think the decision was incorrect. I'll put the striking numbers and totals up so you guys can see it. And let me know what you think, if you think this is a robbery or it was a close fight and Volkov was on the wrong side. I personally think it was a robbery, but I'm just not going to be up in arms over it. It was definitely a close fight. Even after the fight, Dana White was talking to Alexander Volkov and telling him that he got robbed. So I don't know what you do with this fight, and I don't know where either guy goes from here. In the next fight, we have Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie. Round 1, Kron Gracie comes out and is marching forward, getting right on the pressure, getting in Bryce Mitchell's face. Bryce Mitchell's starting with some low leg kicks, and then they come together and get into the clinch. And Kron Gracie literally just jumps in Bryce Mitchell's lap, pause, no diddy, and pulls guard. Bryce Mitchell stays in his position, lands some short shots. This lands for the entire round. It's a 10-9 round for Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell essentially lands 6 strikes while Kron Gracie lands 2. Round 2, Kron Gracie comes out straight away, right on the pressure again. Bryce Mitchell lands a good left hand followed by a knee. They get into the clinch, and Kron Gracie jumps guard again. Bryce Mitchell lands a few shots and lets Kron Gracie back to his feet. Kron Gracie comes forward and then just runs right into the clinch again, jumps guard. But then this time on his back, I will say Kron Gracie swivels his hip very well and manages to threaten Bryce Mitchell with an armbar. Mitchell manages to stack Gracie so where he can extend his hips to finish the armbar. Gracie lets it go and Mitchell remains on top for the rest of the round. I gave this round also 10-9 for Bryce Mitchell. Round 3, Bryce Mitchell comes out, landed some good shots on the back foot as Gracie's coming forward. And then they get into the clinch again. Gracie jumps right into Bryce Mitchell's lap again, pause. Bryce Mitchell then catches Chrome Gracie, puts his right forearm on Chrome Gracie's throat, and then just slams him, and this stuns Chrome Gracie. And then Bryce Mitchell lands some huge elbows, knocks Chrome Gracie out cold, and Bryce Mitchell gets the TKO win. I know the Gracie family did some amazing things for the UFC. They're held in a special place in the UFC. In my opinion, Chrome Gracie, I don't think he should be fighting anymore in the UFC, let alone on the main card of a pay-per-view. It's a win for Bryce Mitchell, but I don't really know what this win does for him, and I don't know if the fans got anything out of this fight. In the next fight, we have Nate the Train Landwehr versus Doo Ho Choi. Round 1, Landwehr rushes forward, gets right on the pressure, gets right in Choi's face, and then next thing, Choi just unloads this nice uppercut, snapping Landwehr's head back straight away. It's pretty clear, very obvious that Choi is the more technical striker, and Landwehr is just trying to brawl. Choi is landing low kicks, crisp strikes. Landwehr is losing every exchange, in my opinion, and that redness is definitely starting to show on his face early in the fight. Landwehr is now biting on every feint Choi puts out there. Choi is just outclassing Landwehr with the hands, and it's a very clear 10-9 round for Doo Ho Choi. Round 2, Nate Landwehr straight away on the pressure again. Choi comes out, gets right back to landing on Nate Landwehr. This time, Choi is starting to get some body work involved, and up to this point, it's just a technical masterclass for Choi. He then lands a takedown on Landwehr and lands a side control, and then Choi moves right in the mouth, and then Landwehr gives his back. Choi takes his back and pretty much is just controlling Landwehr at this point, and that ends the round, so I give this another 10-9 round for Choi. Round 3, they come out, exchanging, landing shots. Landwehr at this point knows he needs a finish, so he's putting the volume out there. Choi manages to get another takedown and then gets Landwehr into a crucifix, and Landwehr is pretty much just at Choi's mercy at this point. Choi holds the position, landing these short elbows. Next thing you know, the ref jumps in, stops the fight. Choi gets a 3rd round TKO win. If you made it this far into the video, don't be afraid to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now we go to the prelim highlights. In the first fight, we have Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Smith. We're gonna pick this up in round 2. Anthony Smith, they come out, goes for a single leg. Reyes defends it well, and then Reyes is balancing on one leg, landing short shots on the side of Anthony Smith's head, and even some heavy elbows. Smith gets rocked and goes down. Reyes lands on top. Smith isn't really moving or doing anything, and Reyes is just landing shot after shot unanswered. And Anthony Smith's just getting beat up at this point. Mark Goddard is telling Anthony Smith to move to get out of there. Every time Mark Goddard yells at him, Anthony Smith does move, but he doesn't offer up any defense at all, and it's just getting beat up. After taking so many unanswered shots, Mark Goddard stops the fight, and it's a 2nd round TKO win for Dominic Reyes. Conclusion of this fight, 73 strikes to none in round 2 for Dominic Reyes. I think Anthony Smith doesn't want to be in the octagon anymore. I know it's tough to deal with the death of someone close to you, but if you aren't all in the fighting, you definitely shouldn't be in the octagon. I wish Anthony Smith nothing but the best. I hope he finds some peace in his life and gets into a good place mentally and emotionally. It's a good win for Dominic Reyes, so let's see if he can make another title run. The next fight, we have Vicente Luque versus Themba Gorimbo. Round 1, both guys come out, filling out the range. They come together for the 3rd time, and Vicente Luque lands a short left hook, drops Themba Gorimbo, jumps right on, snatches his neck, instantly locks in the Darce choke, and puts Themba Gorimbo to sleep. I'm really glad Luque was on the winning side of this one, especially coming back from such a serious injury. In the next fight, we have Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders. In round 2, they come out lead hand fighting with the southpaw orthodox matchup, trying to find the range. Eric Anders is being a bit more active, putting some volume out there. Anders lands a solid left straight. At this point, Weidman jumps guillotine, and then Anders gets back control and starts landing some short shots. Anders scrambles in the half guard and then is landing some good ground and pound again. Anders then postures up and is landing some very nice ground and pound. Weidman isn't really defending himself well and is just getting beaten up. Anders starts landing some heavy elbows. Weidman is trying to control Anders' posture, but is just having no success with it. Mark Smith jumps in. Eric Anders gets his ground and pound TKO win in round 2. In the next fight, we have Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin. In round 3, Max Griffin is down 2 rounds and needs a finish in round 3. Griffin really comes out on the pressure, and Chiesa is just circling, but he's managing not to take any shots. Chiesa then gets a takedown and gets right to the back of Max Griffin. Chiesa is just hunting for that rear naked choke. Gets his right arm under Max Griffin's chin, and Max Griffin taps. Michael Chiesa gets the 3rd round rear naked choke. In the next fight, we have Chase Hooper versus Clay Guida. Round 1, Chase Hooper comes out, takes control of the center of the octagon. You can tell in his body language and his presence that he's much more comfortable on the feet than he's been in previous fights. Hooper gets into the clinch and manages to get Guida down to the mat. Guida gets back to his feet, and then Hooper scrambles to get him right back down to the mat. Guida then gets back up again, and then Chase Hooper just mat returns and gets him right back down. Hooper threatens with some ground and pound, and then next thing you know, Chase Hooper snatches Clay Guida's arm and goes for this arm bar. Chase Hooper locks in the arm bar. Clay Guida taps, and it's a 1st round arm bar win for Chase Hooper. And then in the first fight on the card, we have Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Lucas Brzeski. Round 1, Lucas Brzeski takes the center of the octagon. Kennedy's just touching Brzeski with teeps to the body, and you can tell they're already having an effect. Both guys are exchanging and landing on each other. Kennedy lands 2 nice left straights, get good reactions out of Brzeski. Then Kennedy looks the slightly faster guy, lands a nasty combo counter, and then they come together with about 15 seconds left in the round, and Kennedy lands a massive right hook, drops Brzeski badly. Kennedy swarms him, adds in some ground and pound. Referee jumps in, stops the fight. Kennedy Nzechukwu gets the 1st round TKO win. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Let me know if this video was a W or an L. For your questions, comments, feedback is always welcome. And as always, until next time.